This lesson is predominantly coming from this section of the Bible shown in the highlighted section of this chart. Lesson 53, the days previous to the death of Christ. The week of his crucifixion was the feast of Passover and the feast of unleavened bread. Jesus and his apostles went to Jerusalem and stayed in a small town on the outskirts of Jerusalem. The opposition against Christ reached its peak during the week of the Passover feast. The diabolical hatred of Jesus by the religious leaders was again and again revealed. Jesus answered all of their devious questions with great wisdom and discernment, yet they still wanted to destroy him. Jesus is praised loudly and emotionally by many people using palm branches as he rode on a colt entering Jerusalem. The people referred to Jesus as the Son of David, thus confessing their faith that he was their prophesied Messiah. When the religious leaders saw it, they told Jesus to tell the people to stop praising him. Jesus answered and said, "If these hold their peace, the very rocks will cry out." Jesus defended the people in their emotional display of pure praise for him. All through the Bible, praise and worship of God is taught and even commanded, especially in the Psalms. Since praise and worship are a very big and important part of the Bible and our relationship to God, this topic needs to be discussed here. Praise and worship is a part of and evidence of true faith. Many people today who profess to be believers disobey the Bible's principles of praise by refraining or withholding their praise for God. Many times they do not even attend church, which should provide the most comfortable setting to express praise and thanksgiving to God. The worship and praise part of the church service gives us the opportunity to forget all about our secular problems, obligations, hurts, worries, anxieties, and fears. The Bible teaches that God himself inhabits true worship and praise. The Bible also teaches that the joy of the Lord is our strength. Many times, true heartfelt praise can break feelings of depression and anxiety. Interestingly, the number of people in our society who don't even attend church, much less participate in biblical praise and worship, is remarkably correspondent to the number of people that are taking anti-anxiety and antidepressant medication. What is even more remarkable is that many who do not participate in praise and worship will spend a great amount of money and make great sacrifices to attend events where they then express extreme emotion for sports teams or entertainers that they can never have any real relationship with. Yet, if any of those same people do occasionally attend church, they think it's strange to get emotional for Jesus in worship. Unfortunately, down through history in the church world, people have put more emphasis on palm than on praise. A very strange incident is written in the Gospels about Jesus cursing a fig tree that had leaves on it but no fruit. With the help of other scriptures, we learn that the fig tree represented Israel, and the missing fruit represented justice and righteousness. The warning is that when God invests time into a nation or people, he expects them to produce good works or a life and attitude that will glorify him. If they do not, like the fig tree, they will be cursed, cut down, and burned. About a week before Jesus died, the unrepentant attitude of the religious leaders caused Christ to use some of the strongest language of condemnation against them. Then Jesus, knowing that the people of Jerusalem, swayed by the religious leaders, would reject him and demand for his death, lamented over the city of Jerusalem because of the judgment that would eventually come upon them. This is recorded in Matthew chapter 23, verses 37 to 39, and again in Luke chapter 19. Christ's words are very interesting here and worth noting. Quote, "O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets and stonest them which are sent unto thee, how oft would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathereth her chickens under her wings, and ye would not. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. For I say unto you, ye shall not see me henceforth, till ye shall say, Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord." Unquote. Understand that Jerusalem was the capital of Israel at that time, and as such was the religious center where the temple was located. Notice that Jesus refers to it as, quote, "your house," unquote. Although it was the place where God was supposed to dwell and rule the people, the religious leaders, in a sense, took it over and made it their house, not God's house. In other words, they wanted to serve God according to the dictates of their own heart. There is a warning here about changing God's house, service, and worship to accommodate our desires so that it is no longer His, but ours. Jesus then left the temple and went out of Jerusalem with the apostles and sat down and began to tell them of the judgment that will happen in the future. These prophecies have often been misconstrued by many today and caused much debate and doubt over the validity of the Bible. However, a close study of those prophecies reveal that the Gospels are written in a way that the gap between Jesus' first and second coming is not emphasized. Yet, these prophecies are referring to events taking place around both times of Christ's coming, not just one. This is one of the reasons these prophecies have been so misunderstood. At least two different times of judgment are mixed in some of the Gospels. One involved the attack on Jerusalem, which was already fulfilled in 70 AD, not long after Jesus' first coming. In that event, the temple was destroyed and many Jews were killed by the Romans. The remaining Jews were scattered to the four corners of the earth and survived with much suffering without their own nation for about 2,000 years. The other time of judgment is referring to Christ's second coming, when he will return and judge the world. That prophecy has not yet been fulfilled. The subject of prophecy is a study all by itself. Jesus gave his followers more important information describing the coming Holy Spirit and the way things will go for the apostles and other believers because of their faith in Jesus Christ. He told them, as well as future believers, to prepare for rejection, insults, ostracism, persecution, and even death for the sake of Christ. Sometimes even by family members and some church members. Know the reward. It will be worth it all. He promised. In our next lesson, we will look at Holy Communion instituted at the Last Supper, the mention of the New Covenant, and the morning before the Crucifixion. Talk to you in our next lesson. Goodbye for now.